I save up because. And I go abroad in July. Here, okay, so that's a case that we talked about before. We said that when we use the present continuous, also we have a usage for the present continuous like this. Teaching English tomorrow at 8. So teaching English tomorrow at 8. What's that? Yes, I'm talking about an action that will happen tomorrow. Okay, so I'm talking about the future. So there is a case that I can talk about the future through that when I mention the future. So here when I say in July, so I mention the future, so I'm talking about future. Very nice. Okay. Now let's continue. So when we answer this, I'm saving up because I'm going abroad in July. Very nice. I'm saving up because I'm going abroad in July. So this is the thing. Let's look at the example again. So in this example, we have it like this here. Now both actions, one of them is happening now. I'm saving up nowadays, and I'm going abroad. I'm going abroad in July. That means something will happen in the future. Okay. We're back. Now let's go for the next question. You have empty space here. You empty space need another blanket, or do you feel? Okay, do you feel warm enough? Now, so that's the thing. So I have here that question. So empty space, you empty space again. Then we have need another blanket. What's the blanket? Yes, I use the blanket to put it on me when I sleep, I put a blanket. So that's the blanket. So I put another blanket, or do you feel warm enough? What we say about warm? Is it warm? Yes, warm. What's the opposite of warm? So warm here, the opposite of warm is what? Yes, cold. So the opposite of warm is cold. Very nice. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. So let's go next. Here we were saying you need to talk about what? Is you needing? So is come with you. Is doesn't come with you. So like, okay. So is here is wrong. Does you need? Okay, does again is wrong. Because you takes two. Now, are you needing or do you need? So, are you needing or do you need? So we have to think about it. Are you needing another blanket? Very nice. We talked about need before. We said that it's one of the verbs. If we don't put it in continuous. So I always come with it in. Yes, need, want. All of these verbs, set of verbs that we've talked about before in the present simple. We said that these verbs, I don't put them in a present continuous. So they always come in a present simple. So it will be do you. Do you need another blanket, or do you feel warm enough? So next. Okay. Next word. Now, speaker A will say, I won't tell you my secret unless you empty space, and I need to use promise, not to tell anyone. Promise. Promise is, for example, let's say, like, I give you a promise, like, I'm a father, I have a son, so I tell him one. I promise you that tomorrow we will go to the park. So I promise you that tomorrow we will go to the park. So it's a promise. Promise. So here, so that's speaker A. Now let's go for speaker B. Speaker B will say, I, empty space, promise. So here, both of them are I, so both of them are having the same thing. So here I'm talking, I won't tell you my secret unless you, yes, correct, unless you promise. So the first one is promise. So here is promise, unless you promise, because you takes promise. It's not talking about now, it's talking about yet a fact. And this is unless here it has a rule. Okay, when I have here future, here I have present simple. Now let's go for the second part, speaker B. When I tell you, when I said my son, it's I promise you. I promise you. Very nice. So both of them are promise. So in here we have, yes, I won't tell you my secret unless you promise not to tell anyone. And the second speaker will say, I promise. Okay? Let's go next. I won't tell you my secret unless you promise not to tell anyone. Second speaker will say, I promise. Let's go next. Okay. Next question. I used to play football. I'm used to play football. Now we've done all of the things. Now we have another question. Our next question is, what's the difference between saying, I used to play football and I'm used to playing football? So first here we notice something important. That here we have to. What is to? We said before that to, after to, this preposition comes infinitive. So comes in the infinitive always. When I talk about to, so to here, after to comes the infinitive. Okay. So here we have, I used to play football. The first one, no problem. Now let's go for the second one. In the second one here, we have I'm used to. Two parts. I'm used to. Okay. So, and I have here play. So why here is it play after to? And why here is it playing after to? What's the difference? Yes. The difference here is in the meaning. So we're trying to talk about that. So that's a rule about both. I used to is followed by infinitive. Sorry, there's a typo here. So here, let's fix it. Okay, let's try it again. Used to. So I used to and used to. Okay, in the first one, I don't have verb to be. Second one, I have verb to be. Okay. The first one is talking about what? This one, I used to. Yes, I used to, as we agreed before, it's something, yes, an old habit. Something in the past. How? Now, let's say, for example, I used to play football. So, I used to play football. Like here. So, in here I said, I used to play football. That means in the past. So, here, if we're talking about for the first one, so for the first one here, this one. Now, we need here a timeline. So, let's put a timeline. Okay. Now we have here have, and of course we have, have, and of course we have the second thing is present, And the last tense is, yes, correct, future. Okay, so the first tense is past, the second tense is present, and the last tense is future. Now, if we're talking about I used to here, so where is I used to? You will need the second one. Now, let's start for the first one. I used to. So, I used to for this sentence here. I used to for this sentence here in green. Okay. So, in here, we put it here in green. So that's something else. That's something happened in the past. So it's a habit in the past. I used to do it a lot. I used to play. But if we're talking about now, like starting from the present here until now, but I used to do it here. 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 So in the past, it was an action happening in the past regularly. So this is the idea. So here I used to. But here when I talk about used to, so when I talk about used to here, so here it's not in the past. Used to. When I use verb to be, so he said it's something continuing. So it's something it's happening. So used to, that means what? Yes, correct. Used to, that means that I am doing that as a habit. Now, like when I say I'm used to playing football, that's what? An action, a habit happening now. And here we have it playing because of what? Because of the verb to be. We have verb to be. Sorry, it's a math. Because of verb to be here, so I need to use it. Verb to be here, so I need to use I. Okay. So as we agreed, I used to is followed by infinitive. I'm used to is followed by continue. Now let's talk about some interesting actions. What's this? Yes, skydiving. Okay, Mr. Amir has talked about these things before. So when he talked about them, he's talking about interesting actions, and we've watched some videos. So we have skydiving. Let's recap some of the vocabulary that Mr. Amir talked about before. Skydiving. What else? So let's go for the next thing. Next action. So let's try to remember some actions from the interesting actions that Mr. Amir talked about. So what else? We have skydiving. We have some actions that might happen to you. I can go skydiving. Okay, go skydiving. Okay, until it's finished, let's recap some other parts related to sports. Now, when we talk about sports, we have three verbs we use in sports. We've talked before about actions and sports on a previous level. Now, let's recap something like we're using now. Now, we have go, and we have do, we have play. Now with sports, now when to use go, when to use do, when to use play. Okay? Now, here let's start by play. In play here, play comes, yes, it comes before anything that has a ball. Football, basketball, tennis, volleyball, all of these, they take play because all of them with ball. So all of the sports that are like having balls inside. So like I use play. So that's the first one. So play is with balls. Now let's go for go. Go comes with the sport that has ing. So go comes with the sport that has any sport that has ing, like swimming, for example, horse riding, shopping. So any action sport that comes with ing, so I use go. So play with balls, go with ing. Now do is with individual actions. Individual sports. Something like what? Something like karate, something like kung fu, something like yoga. So all of these, they take do. So anything that doesn't have ing and doesn't have ball and it's an individual action, so I use do with it. Now let's talk about something else that Mr. Amin has talked about. Broke your phone. Oh, that's a bad thing. So it's something that might happen to us. Now let's go next for the next action. Okay. Okay. Now we've talked about present continuous, we've talked about the present simple, we've mentioned the present perfect and the past simple, and we've talked about the sports verbs like go, play, and do. Now let's continue. Now we will continue with another action that we do, like we travel by plane. Okay. So that's another action. Let's go next. Now I've had like an idea of watching a video. Let's stop it until we finish the action. So we have another action here. Yes. Visit another country. So that's an interesting action that you might do. Like to visit another country. Okay. Visiting another country is interesting and it has lots of like benefits. So visit another country. Now let's go next. Okay. And okay. To visit another country. Now, so let's go for something else here. Let's watch this video. We chosen this actually conversation to talk about something. In this conversation he talked about how things are used to, and he talked about bad habits and other things. Now what's this conversation about? This conversation was about having a bad habit in your life. So what is his bad habit? What was his bad habit? Yes, smoke. So the bad habit that he has now is smoke. So smoking is very bad. So now with smoking comes a lot of troubles, a lot of things, a lot of bad things happen because of smoke. Okay? So here he talked about that he wants to, yes, let's talk about the vocabulary we took. So we took smoke. Now we have another vocabulary we talked about, quit. So this is quit. So now this word, it has like twin, has two twins. We mix between them. Now, so this one and this one. Now, what are the differences? Now, when we talk about quit, that means to stop. Like for example, Let's say I quit smoking, that means I'm not going to smoke. I quit playing basketball, that means I'm not going to play basketball. Okay, quit. Now, how about quiet? And this one is, yes, quiet again. So both of them are quiet. So quiet and quiet. But what's this and what's this? Now, this one is quiet and calm. So this one is calm. Okay. So this one is calm. Now, we have said something about this word. What's that thing that L is? Silent. So it's calm. Calm. So, quiet, that means a calm person. A calm person. Okay. How about this one? Quiet. This quiet has different uses. Like, for example, I can say, he's quiet. Good. He's quite good. That means he's what? Maybe he's okay. He's quite good. Like, for example, quite enough. That means, for example, I've went to my exam. I've solved all the questions, so I've solved quite enough to pass the exam. Let's say my exam is 5 questions. To pass the exam, I have to solve 3. So I've solved 3, so I've solved quite enough. That's quiet. That's how I use this quiet. And this quiet here equals calm. Okay? So that's another thing when we speak. Also from it, he said, I used to. So I used to, when I talk a previous habit, something happened, I used to do, and I don't do anymore. Also, he mentioned another word, hide. What's the meaning of hide? Hide. Okay. For example, let's say that thing. So, that watch, you can see it. You can see the watch. So this is, you can see it. But when I put it in my pocket, so I hide the watch. Okay. So this is, I show the watch. This is hide the watch. Okay. So that's the thing. So this is the idea. Now let's recap something we've talked about before. What's that thing? Now, how to speak fluently. We said before that we have 4 rules to speak correct and fluent English in an easy way and to learn English in an easy way. Okay? Now let's talk about one of them. Like, here we took some vocabulary. And this vocabulary we need to learn them in sentences. Let's take them one by one. Let's take the first vocabulary. I smoke, or let's put 2 words. I quit smoke cigarettes. So I quit smoking cigarettes. I quit smoking. That means I stopped smoking cigarettes. Okay? Now let's go for white. These candles are white enough for birthday. So these candles are white enough for the birthday. That means what? They are enough for the birthday. Okay? They are quite enough. So we will actually use them. We actually finish them. You know what are the candles? The candles. Okay? So candles. So we have them for our birthday. Now, Muhammad is a white person. Muhammad is a white person. What's the opposite of white? Yes, noisy. So they have the opposite of white is noisy. Now let's talk about height. I've hidden my wallet before. Or like this, right? I hide my money in my bag. I hide. I keep them away from people. Like I hide my money in my bag. So I hide my money. Okay. So we always said, when we learn a vocabulary, we learn it in a sentence. So again, when you teach any new vocabulary, try to learn it in a sentence. Okay. Now, in here, let's go through the rest of the actions. Then we're done for today. We have like got into a fight, traveled by plane, visit another country, or lost your wallet. So when I lose my wallet, like this is my wallet, I lost it. I can't find it. Okay. Now let's go here. Play golf. I played golf yesterday. So play golf. That's an action. Okay. So I guess it's gonna work. Okay. Away from the rest of the actions. Okay. Now that's what we have for today. So today we talk about what? Today we talk about, let's recap what we talked about today. We recap that what is the present simple. And we said that the present simple comes as a fact or a habit. That's for the present simple. Also you talk about the present continuous. And we said that the present continuous is talking about now, or sometimes I can use it in the future. Now we also talked about the past simple. Okay? And we'll talk more about the past simple and the present perfect in the next. Okay? In the next one. The past simple and the present. Okay? And we'll talk about also some action, some education things. What did we say about education? We said yes, we have different categories of education. We have preschool until we talk about university. As we actually have learned that before in the previous session that was talking about education. So we've learned that the preschool is before school, then we have like kindergarten, that's like the first somehow stage of school, then the first real stage of school is the primary school, then after that the junior high and senior high and all of these other kinds of school. Then after finishing the school, I take a certificate. I graduate first and I take a certificate. And we have different certificates. We said it's different when I take a certificate from the school or I take a certificate from university. That's correct. So in the university, I have a different certificate. I have BA and BSc, BA, bachelor degree, the bachelor degree, and BSc, the bachelor degree from science. We have the bachelor degree from arts and the bachelor degree from the science, and that's after university. Also, we said that we can have the master and we can have the PhD and so on. Okay, that's actually all for today. So this is all for today after we talked about also the interesting action from Mr. Amir's session. So we said that we have like some interesting actions we happen to have in our life these days. Like for example, when I go skydiving, then after that we actually talked about the 3 verbs that we use with sports. We said go, do, and play. Correct. That's very nice. And we said about them that in go, do, and play, we use them actually in a different way. Play is with something with ball, go is with ing, and do is with individual activities. Okay. Now, thank you very much. That was Mr. Ahmed Ragab from the Academic Professional Training. Thank you, and I'll see you in the future, inshallah.